trying to protect you," Chuka shouted. "That word, I didn't want it touching you. But you brought it to me," she said coldly. "By not telling the truth." He stood too. "Then what do we do now? Cancel everything again? Let them win? Let my past destroy my future twice?" Chioma was silent, then she said something he didn't expect. "I want to meet her." Chuka's eyes widened. "What?" "I want to meet Ada. If she's alive, if she sent that message, I need to know what happened from her mouth. Not yours. Not rumors." Chuka hesitated. "It's dangerous." Chioma stared at him. "So is marrying a man whose past can kill me in my sleep?" 2 days later, they traveled to Asaba. The air was thick. The roads dusty and busy. They asked around. Searched records. And finally, an old neighbor pointed them to a compound painted green and cream. "She lives there. But she doesn't come out much." Chioma knocked, no response. She knocked again, then the door creaked open, and there stood a woman, beautiful, poised, and with a scar that ran from her left cheek to her ear. Her eyes narrowed. Well. Look who crawled back from the grave," she said, her voice like honey laced with poison. Chuka stepped back. "Ada." But Ada's eyes were locked on Chioma. "So this is her," she said. "The reason you vanished." Chioma stepped forward. "I'm not here to fight." Ada laughed. "Then you're in the wrong house. Did you send that message?" Chioma asked. Ada smiled. "Maybe. Or maybe your lover still has enemies he hasn't confessed." Chuka's hands shook. "What do you want?" Ada walked slowly to a shelf and brought out an old photograph. It showed her and Chuka smiling, back when things were good. "Or seemed good. I want the truth," Ada said. "Not the one you made up. The real one. Because I lost more than blood when I fell. I lost a child." Chioma gasped. Chuka's knees gave way. Ada's voice cracked for the first time. "I was pregnant. 3 months. You knew. That's why I told you to marry me. You didn't run because of a scam. You ran because you couldn't face the damage you caused." Chioma covered her mouth. Ada stepped close. "I should have destroyed you. But I won't. You destroy yourself." Then she whispered into Chioma's ear, "He's not who you think. Be careful." Back in the hotel, Chioma sat like a statue. Chuka was on the floor, begging, crying, swearing that he didn't know she was pregnant, that he panicked, that he was sorry, but Chioma was already gone. Not physically. But inside, she picked up her phone and sent a message to her father. "Don't confirm any plans yet. I need time. There's more." She looked at Chuka and asked just one question. "If you lied once, how do I know you didn't lie about loving me too?" Chuka had no answer. She turned away. The air was quieter. But inside Chioma, a storm still raged. She hadn't spoken to Chuka since they returned from Asaba. He had sent texts, voice notes, and even showed up at her gate twice, but she didn't open the door. Her heart wanted to forgive, but her spirit whispered, "You're not his healer." She stood by her window, watching the rain fall. Then she picked up her phone and called him. "Hello." Chuka's voice sounded broken. "Tired. Meet me at the park near Aroma Junction." 1 hour. At the park, the sky was cloudy. The benches wet. But Chioma stood beneath a tree, strong and composed. Chuka arrived, eyes swollen with hope and desperation. "I've missed you," he began. Chioma raised a hand. "Don't start with emotions. I didn't come here for that." He swallowed. "Okay." She stared into his eyes. "I've made a decision." Chuka stepped closer. "I forgive you," she said. His eyes widened. "Chioma. But I'm not marrying you." His heart sank. "I can't," she continued. "You didn't just break my heart. You buried a piece of someone else's future, Ada's, and walked away like nothing happened. She blackmailed me, Chuka said quickly. She threatened, Chioma cut in. And you made an agreement. You were going to marry her. You ran. You left her with a scar and without a child. You owe her more than apologies and silence. She pulled out an envelope and handed it to him. What's this? He asked. Something I wrote to her. A letter. You take it to her. And after that, you do the honorable thing. Chuka looked confused. What do you mean? You'll marry Ada. What? He gasped. You said you wanted to be a better man, she said, calm and firm. Start there. Make it right. Not for love. Not for passion. But for justice. Chuka sank to his knees. But Chioma, she shook her head. I loved you. And maybe a small part of me still does. But I refuse to enter a marriage built on the ashes of another woman's pain. I deserve peace. He began to cry. She wiped her own eyes and whispered, so does she. Then she walked away. And this time, she didn't look back. 1 month later in Asaba, Ada stood at her compound gate, arms folded. Chuka walked up slowly, holding the envelope in one hand. And a small box in the other. Came to finish what you started. Ada asked. He said nothing. He handed her the letter. She read it slowly. Tears formed in her eyes. Not for him. But for the girl who saw through the fog and chose light. Ada looked up. So, what now? Chuka knelt, opened the box, and revealed the ring, not the same one he gave Chioma, a new one, not for love, he said. But for healing. If you let me do right by you. Ada stared, long, hard, then said, let's talk inside. 6 months later, Umuahia, Chioma sat in her mother's garden, reading a book. The world around her was peaceful, far from the noise of Lagos, far from the scars of heartbreak. She had returned home after the storm. Her soul needed healing. Her heart needed stillness. She didn't cry anymore. Not over Chuka. Not over the memories. She had found something better, clarity. Her mother came outside with a steaming cup of tea. Any news from Asaba? Mama asked. Chioma nodded. Yes. They had a quiet ceremony. Just close family. No celebration. Mama sipped. You did the right thing. It takes strength to walk away. Chioma smiled faintly. Sometimes love means letting go. Not holding on. Just then, her phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number. Thank you for saving me from myself. I pray you find someone who will never give you a reason to doubt. Ada. Chioma held the phone to her chest, closed her eyes, and breathed deeply. That chapter was closed, truly. Finally, Asaba, same day, Ada sat on her porch, looking at the sky. Inside, Chuka was feeding her mother, who had fallen sick weeks ago. He wasn't perfect. But he was present.
Thank you so much for watching. Your support means more than words can say. Every view, every like, every follow, I see it, and I'm truly grateful.